Okay, let's try this a third time. Hey guys, my name is Victoria, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to show you my spring TBR today. So all the books I want to read in the very near future because spring sort of has arrived. It's a bit, you know, it's still taking its time, but I think I can confidently say that it's going to be warmer now. I could be wrong. We could have snow in the next month. I don't know, but I wrote down 10 books which I'm so excited to read, which I definitely want to read before the next semester starts. A very confident decision or goal, but the next semester starts in less than a month. Yeah, I just hope I get to read these books in the coming weeks. I think we're going to start right away. Before we do though, as always, let me know how you are. The current situation is a very important one, and for me it's just important that I acknowledge the situation in my videos. If you want to educate yourself on the matter, if you want to donate, if you have any reliable sources, leave them down below or check out my description box because I will leave sources in my description box from now on under every single video, so this situation is not disregarded. I make videos and I want them to be distracting and comforting, but I also want to be aware of things and I want other people to be aware of things. So yeah, we can't ignore the current situation, but we hopefully can help as much as we can. That's something I want to do and want to stand for, so as always I will leave things down below. Let's start with my TBR list. The first book on this list is The Secret Garden, a classic that I wanted to read for quite some time. I bought it last year. I have a beautiful copy. I've been waiting to read it till spring now. I recognize that it might not be a spring book. For those of you who have read that book, you might think this is actually not really fitting for that season, but I made the decision that I want to read it in spring, that it's gonna be a spring book for me. So this book is about the English girl Mary Lennox, and she lost her parents in a cholera epidemic and travels from India, where she used to live, to England to her uncle, what's his name? Archibald Craven, to Yorkshire. Apparently her nature undergoes a gradual transformation. She learns of the tragedies that have befallen her strict and disciplinarian uncle, whom she earlier feared and despised. She also doesn't know her uncle, and then she discovers the secret garden, which I think she finds comfort in or solace. This book has elements of mystery, spirituality, charming characters, and apparently an authentic rendering of childhood emotions and experiences. And I'm very excited to read the book because I also want to watch the movie afterwards. And I'm just always excited to read classics, even though they can be very, very long and very slow-paced. But I'm excited. So yeah, this is the first book on the list. Let's continue. The next book I want to read is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, a book that I've been wanting to read for so long, ever since I started watching BookTube. Everyone has been talking about Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have read 2 books by her. I have devoured and loved these books so much, and I am very happy that I finally have a copy of Daisy Jones and the Six. This is the story of a band, so Daisy Jones and the Six is a band, and they are getting interviewed, and I think the entire novel, and knowing Taylor Jenkins Reid, story surrounded by scandals and love and heartbreak or whatever, is told through that interview. So I'm very excited to get to read that book. Finally. And yeah, I will tell you more about it after I read it. I actually like not knowing that much going into the book. I just know it's about a band, it's told in an interview, and you know, knowing the author is going to be scandalous. So yeah, I'm excited. Let's continue the list. The next book on my list is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, a Romeo and Juliet retelling in I think 1926. Yes, set in Shanghai. I am so excited to read this book. It very much gives me the vibes of Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet, the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm a huge fan of Romeo and Juliet. It's one of my favorite Shakespeare's. I have not read and seen lots of Shakespeare's, like a lot. The major plays I have watched. And from the language aspect, I just really love Romeo and Juliet. And I'm really excited about These Violent Delights. I thought that I was not going to read it at first, and then I fell in love with Romeo and Juliet, and then a lot of people said, you need to read this book, it's amazing, and I'm very excited, and I look forward to reading it very much. If you're not familiar with Romeo and Juliet, which I think most people are, but it's not bad if you aren't, this book centers around the 2 gangs in Shanghai. I forgot what they're called. And as this is set in a more modern setting than Romeo and Juliet, which centers around the Capulets and the Montagues and their ongoing fight and ongoing conflict. This is also about two star-crossed lovers, Juliet and Roma Montague, right? So yeah, I'm very excited for this book because if you read the entire summary, which I'm not going to read to you because it's just a TBR, you realize that it's not just a retelling of the story, but it's a bit different because otherwise you could just watch the movie or you could just watch a performance of Romeo and Juliet. But I'm excited to see what the author did with the book. I'm really excited. The next book I'm excited for is another classic, and it's Black Beauty by Anna Sewell, a story about a horse. I read you the summary in what I got for my birthday, because I got that book for my birthday, and it's a story that I have not grown up with. I think my mom grew up with that story and some other people. I just personally haven't, and I'm really excited to get to know that, and I just feel like it's going to be a spring read for me. So yeah, I'm excited to read that, Black Beauty. Yay! The next book is a book I can't believe I haven't read yet, and it's Cersei by Madeline Miller. I'm so mad at myself for not having read it yet. I don't know what's stopping me. Maybe it's high expectations because I love the Song of Achilles so much. I do not know. But yeah, I want to read that so badly. So this is about Cersei. She's the daughter of Helios. She was banished. She lives on an island. You might know her if you are familiar with the Odyssey. She turns men into guinea pigs, which is fun. It's just said to be great, like the Song of Achilles, and I'm excited to get to know Cersei's story. And I can't believe I haven't read that. So it's on my, I'm gonna call it immediate TBR. These books are the books that I want to tell you about in my March, in my April, and maybe latest May wrap-ups. The next two are rereads. I want to read The Song of Achilles again, also by Madeline Miller. I'm just put it right after Cersei. I read this in March last year, and I do plan on reading it in March again. I want to listen to the audiobook while also reading it and actually annotating the book, because I have not done that last time I read the book, and I'm so excited. So excited to cry again. I know a lot of people who love the book. I also know people who did not like the book, which is totally understandable. I, for myself, loved it, and I can't wait to read it again. Yay. I, by the way, have gorgeous copies of these two books. I bought the very expensive Illumicrate special editions. They're not available anymore. I'm sorry. But they're absolutely gorgeous. I just wanted to show you because they're beautiful. The thing is, I love books that look like they've been read, that look like they've been loved. And I love seeing annotations and notes and little, like when the pages are wrinkled. I love that, right? I will not write in these. For some reason, it's just, I can't. So I will use my other copies of these two books to read and annotate, but these have too much of a collector's value for me. So yeah, these are just for decoration. Just wanted to show you that I have them and maybe brag a bit. Okay, the next is also a reread. These are actually 3 books, so it's a trilogy. The books are The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. I have read them once, which I can't believe I did. If you didn't know, I am a huge fan of the Shadowhunters universe. I love them very much. And I read the Mortal Instruments I think 3 times, and I have not read the Infernal Devices, even though I love every single character so much, for a second time even. So I plan on reading them again. The last time I read them was 2016. That's quite... that's 6 years. Oh my god! Anyway, so the Infernal Devices are about Shadowhunters from the London Institute, and it's set in the 19th century. It centers around Tessa Gray, William Herondale, and Jem Carstairs. Characters I absolutely fell in love with, cried for, just cried a lot in general. I'm ready to cry again. And yeah, it's just, I badly want to read them again because I read Chain of Gold, which is the sequel to the Infernal Devices, so it's about... Is that a spoiler? Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. But you have to know the Infernal Devices before you read these books, or it's just beneficial. And when I listened to Chain of Gold, it was sometimes hard to follow because I was like, wait, what happened again? So ever since I read Chain of Gold, which was last year, I think, yeah, I've made a mental note that I want to read the Infernal Devices again, so I hopefully will be able to accomplish that. These are big books, and I have not read them in English actually. I only read them in German so far. Okay, the next book is one that I do not have yet. Actually, the last 3 books are books I do not have. I do plan on acquiring them. the next few weeks. First one is one I never thought that I would put on a list, but it's The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. The Duke and I is the book that the show, the Netflix show, Bridgerton is based on. I am in love with that show. I don't know, it's not even about the love story because I'm sorry, I couldn't care less. This entire show is so painfully straight. I know that we have some sort of LGBT representation in the first season, but it's sidelined, and I have hopes that they will continue to bring in characters that are not that sidelined and maybe change something about the main characters, just as they've done with the Duke, because the Duke in the show is played by Reggae, I forgot his name, and he's a person of color. The Duke in the book is a white man. So they did change something about that to have more representation, which I absolutely love. And I just wish that they would do that with more main characters, but then coming from the LGBT community, because this show is so white. Holy shit. The reason why it's on this list is because, first of all, the second season is going to come out next week. So excited. And I do not think that I will read the books before the second season comes out. I do not even have all the books, and I don't know if I will like the writing style, but I love that time. I do not want to time travel to that time because women had like 0 rights, but I just like the, you know, when I watch Bridgerton, it's not that much about the love story between the Duke, so Simon and Daphne, though obviously it is the main focus. It's like the clothing, the style, the language, like that's one of my favorite parts, and just the aesthetic of the entire show. It just gives me a good feeling, even though women are so much reduced to their innocence and whatever. It's a different discussion. So yeah, I don't know, I have the feeling that I want to read it and maybe see if the books give me the same atmosphere that the show is able to give me. You know what's really annoying? You know the reason why I talk so much about the representation part and the diversity of the show is it's just very important. Representation is one of the many reasons why I like watching shows. Honestly, if a show nowadays does not have a character that is a person of color or of the LGBTQ plus community that is not just like the gay best friend, I immediately think that the show is not good. Or that the show does not have the same value as other shows have. For example, Sex Education, or what else? Maybe even Shadowhunters, though a lot of people were straight in that. What's a good show that has very good representation? See? Not that many. And I will know that the show, Bridgerton, wants to be historically accurate and also accurate to the books. So you have these, I don't know how many books there are, 8. I do not plan on reading all of them. I just want to get to Penn and Colin because these are the only ones I ship. But I know that the accuracy of that show is important to some people. But they already changed some things to be more diverse, which I think is so important and needs to happen more. And I think that some people involved in such projects still shy away from that, thinking like, oh no, the book actually has that character with a woman, so we can't have that. Or in the book, she is in love with a man, like, or that in that book, he is white. I don't know, especially because of the Netflix show. Netflix brags all the time about their diversity. I don't know why it's so hard to implement characters in a way that come from the LGBT community. And I'm only talking about that because I am a woman and I am part of the LGBTQ plus community. I don't know why it's so hard to change that. Is it so hard to make a character that is obviously not interested in marriage, asexual, aromantic, or even gay? Who cares? I don't even know. Anyway, that's just something. Honestly, if you have any sort of point to that discussion, I would love to hear it. I am aware of the accuracy, and I know that Bridgerton really tries to be very accurate, not only to the books but also to the time, which I like, but who cares? It's 2022. Everyone knows that women, people from the LGBTQ plus community, and people of color did not have any rights back then, or barely had any if they had any. So we are aware of that. There's enough media out there. So why not change it? Why not say, you know what? Fuck that. That's stupid. We're not gonna do that. Let's not make the Duke white like you did in the first season. Let's not make this person straight. How about that? Anyway, it's just a discussion I'm very passionate about. So yeah, I don't know why I want to read these books. It's the reason why, anyway, after this whole rant, I just want to read this book because I want to see if it gives me the same kind of atmospheric feeling that I get when I watch Bridgerton. And I want to read it because of the language. So yeah, I'm just excited to see that. I don't know, kind of scared. I would like to listen to it more, but I can't find a good audiobook, so yeah. If you read these books, please tell me what you thought about them. I mean, I could read reviews, but I trust you guys more. Okay, the next one I want to read is Honeycomb by Joanne M. Harris. So the primary reason why this is on my TBR might be because I saw someone on TikTok buying that book and it was really, really pretty. But you know, the cover gives you a first impression. But I also read the summary, and this is a collection of fairy tales, and it's supposed to be very whimsical and magical and nature-based, and yeah, I'm a sucker for that. Just give it to me. I want it now. That is a book I definitely want to have in my collection. So yeah, I think it's a good book for this time, because, you know, the bees come out slowly. I have not seen a bee yet. I will tell you about it though. I will tell you about the first bee that I see. Okay, it's always a good day when I see the first bee of the year. Anyway, so yeah, that's the book I want to read. It's just a bunch of fairy tales, and I want to get more into that because my friend writes fairy tales and I want to write fairy tales, and I think it's very pretty. Okay, and number 10, the last book on this list, which does not mean that I will not read any other books. Upstream by Mary Oliver. Yes, I watched Jack Edwards' last video of him reading Andrew Garfield's favorite books. Of course I have. Who do you think I am? People who don't know Jack Edwards are like, what? What is he talking about? Upstream is a collection of essays by Mary Oliver, an author that I was very shortly introduced to in my introduction to literature class in my studies. And since Jack read it in his video and talked more about it, I was like, okay, yeah, this is like, I have to read it. First of all, Mary Oliver is a poet and author, or was a poet and author, and she talks a lot about nature in this book and how much artists, writers, poets especially, find their inspiration for life and everything in nature itself. And that is everything. I'm a huge fan of nature. I love writing about it, and I just know that when I read this book, it will give me so much that will be beneficial for my future writing. So yeah, that is a book I definitely want to read. I do not have it yet though. So yeah, this is the last book. I'm really excited to tell you about them all after I read them. And if you are excited about them and about what I think of them, then maybe you should subscribe. And don't forget to click the little bell next to the subscription button to never miss an upload. This actually comes later in my outro, but here we are. These are some of the books I'm very excited for. This is the end of the video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and comment down below what you would like to see next. Please tell me what books you are excited to read in spring. If you have any good recommendations for books that are perfect for this upcoming season. I'm not talking about the wedding and social season. Then leave them down below. All my social media is linked down below, as are the sources that I recommend you guys check out. And if you have any, please leave them down below for all the others and myself. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Bye! Today I'm talking about a white man. No! I'm sorry. For Nicht das Licht! Ah! TikTok, bye. Okay, we have a visitor. I don't know how long he's going to stay. Okay, no, he doesn't want to stay. Okay. Ah! Did not see that coming. So it's about two gangs. The primary reason why this was on my TBR. The primary reason. Neglected. Bye guys. Bye.